I'm in love with the grind. I'm in love with the culture. Do this for the fam. Do this for Kenosha.
You know I got you, Kenosha.
If you got the vision, then come a little closer. Let's get it together. Life aligned with the soldiers. I'm in love with the grind. I'm in love with the...
All right, what's going on, everybody? You are now tuned into Kenosha's Most Watched podcast. We are now with Kenosha's most watched person, Koerri Elijah. Koerri, how you doing today?
Yo, how's it going?
Man, it's going really, really good, bro. Who'd ever thunk that they would see two content creators on the same channel, same page, you know what I'm saying?
Man, that's what's up, though.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's what I've been hoping would happen, you know? You know, after like a year of like a mad dash of making content and then having kind of like a lull and like being in a period of like, all right, where's the next step, you know? Just looking around and being like, man, who else is kind of out here making content? And like media, I'm not like a lot of people are like, oh, you're like a journalist or you're like you do news or whatever. Me, I look at it as like, I mean, I've come up with YouTube, you know, like I've uploaded content on YouTube since like the early 2000s, you know what I'm saying? So like
some Soulja Boy innovation stuff, huh?
So like even just like on some like I like creating content, like I always have, but it's always been like different types of things, you know? So going into it, like looking at like, hey, all right, so what am I gonna do on this next step of the journey? I'm looking at it as like I always have, like, all right, I can do whatever, you know? Don't pigeonhole yourself. So looking around, I'm like, all right, who else is out here just making content? I don't care if it's skits, whatever, you know, podcasts, whatever it is. I just want to try to like help create a coalition so we can thrive, you know?
Yes, sir. So tell me just a little bit about you, man. Obviously, you're from Kenosha, so just tell the fans on YouTube just a little bit about you, sir.
Word. So, so I'm known, I guess, most known as Koerri Elijah. That's my first and middle name. Last name is Washington. You know, but on the internet, you want to have like that certain level of like ambiguity, you know. You want to, you know. So I just go by Koerri Elijah because I like my name because it's unique. So I wanted to use that, but I didn't want to just be like, oh, you know, Koerri Washington.
Like Drake said, I'm real name, no gimmicks. I feel it.
Yeah,
I feel
you know,
it, bro.
Like it's me, but then also it's me, but it's also not me. You know, I was able to create an online persona, I guess you could say, but still be myself, but still kind of like dictate exactly what people see. You know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But yeah, so I'm just a guy from Kenosha, Wisconsin. Grew up here, born and raised. Just always was into like making videos. Grew up like skateboarding and stuff like that with my friends. Yeah. So we were always making like skate videos and like growing up, I would always make like skits and random stuff with like on a handy cam with my little brother and stuff like that. I was in like AV club and stuff in middle school and stuff like that. So like editing and like making videos and like putting content together was something I always liked to do.
Yes, sir.
I suppose subconsciously more before and now like more, you know, bringing it more into fruition. Throughout my adult years, I'll say.
How old would you say you were?
Oh, so I'm 32.
32.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So yeah, 88.
88. Wow.
88.
I'm out here thinking you're like 19, 20.
No,
you
know what?
Seriously.
Like it's a gift and a curse. You know, they say, I suppose, black don't crack.
Yeah.
People are always like,
it lets us on crack, you know. It's a little way.
Exactly, bro. But yeah, I've always felt like I look how, you know, I look my age. But like throughout like going viral and all this stuff, I've realized I'm sort of a chameleon. I don't know if it's like my aesthetic, you know. I mean, I try to, you know, I look at myself as slightly fashionable, I suppose. You know, I try to do my thing, at least for the most part. So maybe that's part of it or something like that. Or, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I have good skin or something. I don't know. But I'm 32. I'm a grown man. I'm a father. I have kids. You know, I have a daughter. She's 7. I have a son. He's 2.
Oh, wow.
Headed towards 3. So yeah, man, I'm a grown man. My beard grows all the way in and everything. So
you put your shoes on the same feet just like everyone else too, huh?
Yes, sir. Right. Yeah, man.
So I do have 2 things as we get started with this. So I just want to say this episode is brought to you by Lakeshore Nutrition, home of the nutrition drinks, whether it's a protein shake or it's a tea that revitalizes the body as well. Secondly, I do have a clip from a mutual friend of ours who found out that we were finally working together. I was like, all right, I got something for you. So I'm going to go ahead and play that.
All right, cool.
Hey, Koerri Elijah. This is your boy Ziggy. Just wanted to give you a shout out. Really happy for
Yo.
everything that you are doing in the community and nationally as well. Just preaching the good word and preaching the honest truth out there. And so I'm just really proud of you. And from being my mentor back in Hoo Ha days to making music together, you really kind of opened my eyes to a whole different realm of possibilities. And I use some of those things in my everyday life here. So just wanted to give you a shout out, tell you that I love you, man, and Double I fam, of course, and of course to Devon, Line for Line Pod,
Let's go.
Bucks and Six. You already know we'll get together soon, man. But much love to both of y'all from the Shy.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
So here's something like that. Like, how does that make you feel knowing that you got people who've been watching you, who's been friends with you?
Yo, that's what's up, man. I haven't seen Ziggy in a minute too, so I mean, it's great to hear his voice and like, man, dude, it feels good, man. Like it feels really good. Again, like I said, I'm a grown man. I've lived a life. I've done, I've worked all different types of jobs and
He
stuff.
said I lived a life as if you're like 50.
But I do. Maybe one day we'll get into like a full, autobiographical talk or something like that. But yeah, but I've lived a life, and like thinking back to those days, like just not just making music with Ziggy, but like we had some pretty fire tracks. I've laid some probably one of my favorite verses with him, which is we always have that connection.
Yeah.
But kind of being he said mentor. I never really looked at it that way, but like when you're considered the OG or you're the older person, or like I have a younger brother, like I always want to give game, you know, and that's like my whole thing about everything. Like throughout it all, if I can chop game or provide, some jewels to someone, then that's what I want to do. If I know about something, then I'm going to provide the information. If I can help you succeed or provide some advice or whatever it may be, like that's, as a person, like that's what I like to do, and it's cool to hear it back in a way, because when I do it, I don't do it for that, like I didn't imagine like some years would go by and I'd be on a podcast and he would say these, great things about me. Like that feels good, and it's like I don't ever expect it to happen, and it doesn't always happen, but like just like TJ though.
Yeah. So with that being said, though, when posting that status, you know what I'm saying, did you realize that the type of strength that it would have behind it after you posted it, or maybe even during you posted it?
I mean, yeah, I am fully aware of everything that I say and I do, and like that's why if I was specifically mad at an individual, I would have said an individual, right? And again, like, if people don't necessarily know me, then they wouldn't know that. But if you ask my closest friends, they would be like, if Koerri is upset with you as a person, then he would be like, oh, that person off with their head or whatever, whatever it would be. Otherwise, it's more of like, I'm looking at the situation, and based off of the situation, I'm not upset with a person. I was just like, upset with the situation, and it's not like upset, and I hate to say disappointed because that's worse than upset, I suppose. But I was just like, man, I really was just hoping for it to be a more fruitful situation, I suppose, when it came to I don't know, just meeting people.
Yeah. So there's just something I want to pick your brain about, just because I'm glad that this was brought up. You know what I'm saying? So just listening to you as well too, I have like a rebuttal. Not saying like a rebuttal.
No,
but just like so like for one, like you say, you feel like the black community doesn't support you, and that was like
no.
Alienate. You feel alienated
which
in the black
community.
community.
Which is completely different, because black people. Individual black people. There's plenty of black people that support me, for sure. In my inbox, show love and all types of stuff. I'm talking about like community wise. Yeah.
So like, we're not just speaking on.
I'm not talking about
just
black
the Juneteenth.
people.
We're not just speaking on the Juneteenth event.
No, I'm talking about like my entire life experience.
Okay, gotcha.
Growing up in Kenosha, I've always felt alienated.
Okay, gotcha. Well then, so I guess then a lot of people who saw it as well too, they can get closure from that as well too, since you said it wasn't just from the Juneteenth event. Because listening to you speak, you just said how more white people support you than African Americans, you know what I'm saying? But then when you tie that into the whole Juneteenth event as a whole, now you got people, especially, and I'm not disrespecting one, but white people looking at the Juneteenth and what was going on with that area as, oh, well, maybe we shouldn't support that now. If Koerri says, oh, it's not bad, or it's bad, or they don't support him, like, why would we support that if their own kind is saying that they don't support him?
But the thing about that is, though, I never said that, though. I said what you said, alienated. I said I felt alienated, right?
In the black community?
I felt alienated from the community. But that doesn't mean the community's bad.
But the community as a whole, you said black community.
No, that means that I feel that I'm disconnected. Like, for some reason, I'm not plugged in how I necessarily feel like I should be. Gotcha. That doesn't mean that black community's bad. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean that I'm saying that they did anything wrong. There's no victim.
Yeah, I'm not saying you said that. I'm just saying how people would perceive it.
But I don't see how they would perceive that. Because I don't perceive it that way. Maybe, but I mean, I don't find myself to be ridiculously intelligent. I feel like I'm, an average person. Mm-hmm. And I mean, again, like I'm a literal person, so maybe that's why it could come off that way, but I'm looking at it like word for word. I don't see how anyone should be offended by it. Like, I'm just expressing how I feel, and I should be able to express how I feel without other people.
Yeah, no one's taking that away from you, obviously.
Right.
Yeah, we're just speaking on the situation as a whole,
but like, again, like someone mentioned that to me before, and I don't understand how that could somehow, like, first off, I'm not a white person whisperer, right? Mm-hmm. So like I'm like, I don't know, it comes off like I'm just like I command a group of only white people or something like that, which isn't the case, right? Mm-hmm. Also, I don't control anyone. Like people are gonna feel however they feel about whatever situation, right? But I mean, I can say for a fact that on my post, the first person that commented something on the post wasn't a white person. Mm-hmm. It was an Afro-Latino person. So, but I mean, again, I wasn't doing it saying, hey, like, the community is bad, don't support black people. Like, I didn't say anything like that. Mm-hmm. I said I was hoping that I would find, more connections or things of that nature, right, at the event. Mm-hmm. I never said the event was bad. I said I connected with people at the event. Like, people reached out to me. So clearly, like, nothing bad had to have gone on. Yeah. Good things happened, just not the good things that I was hoping would happen. It's not like it was negative. It was still positive. It just wasn't positive in the way that people would hope it would be positive, I guess. I don't know.
Gotcha. Yeah. Like I said, I had no issue with it. I just said how people perceive it and how I thought people could perceive it and what people said too.
To be honest, like, if I hadn't said it, then I wouldn't have made more connections with black people. Mm-hmm. I've made at least 7 connections with black people that I didn't have like a good connection with because of the post. So in a way, like, it did what it was supposed to do. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's helped connect us. Maybe this would have happened, maybe not. I know, like, I had recently had just, like, you know how the universe works. I like, one of your posts came up in, like, my feed or something like that. I saw you were talking about comic books with this dude and stuff, so I was watching and I was like, oh, that's what's up, cool, And then I made the post maybe a couple days later or whatever, and then you hit me up, and I was like, I just seen this dude's stuff. Yeah. Dude knows about comic books and stuff like that. That's what's up, you know? Like, and that's...
Yeah, and like I said, it was, like I messaged you from the get-go, it was tragic that you felt that way. Like, I wish there was something that I could do to help with that, but it's like, I'm one person, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, you did, though. Yeah. At the end of the day, like, this is all I wanted to happen, right? And and it still did. So at the end of the day, like, again, I suppose maybe that's the lesson for me. Yeah. Speak up a little bit more, But, again, like I said, I be self-conscious, and I be, like,
Yeah. Well, with that being said, like, as we get ready to close out, how is it that we move forward past that? It's two content creators, 2 African American content creators who didn't cross paths before, but now cross paths. Like, how is it that we go I can't talk to me. How is it that we go I can't talk today. How is it that we go knock down these doors, you know what I'm saying, and bring the community back together, you know? Because my bad to cut you off, but just let alone from that, you know what I'm saying? The black community is not what it used to be, like, from me growing up and, like, just how I was raised, you know what I'm saying? The community was, like, intact. Everyone knew each other, you know what I'm saying? But now you got all these hoods, all these beefs, like, just, like, how is it that we changed the narrative, you know what I'm saying, of black people working together?
All right, well, that's a good question. So the first part, I say just the work has to continue. The work doesn't stop, right? So, like, as a content creator, you just keep creating content, right? Find ways to collaborate, and then we execute on the ways to collaborate. But always just trying to keep things new, keep things fresh, you know, and not just collaborate with current content creators, but especially in the situation that we're in, try to cultivate more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, reach out to people that have interesting ideas, bring them on the platform. That's something that I'm working on, trying to, like I was saying about the show that I'm working on. That's the reason why I had the idea for the show. It was to cultivate other content creators in a platform that they don't necessarily have to host, but they can get their feet wet and get used to being on camera, or quick thinking and stuff like that, you know, or coming up with answers, or just being silly, or coming up with jokes on the fly and stuff like that, you know, finding their niche and figuring out what they're good at, and then being able to expand out from there, you know. So, I mean, I think if we do that, things will continue to grow. I know youngsters out here are definitely, like, they're all about it, you know, like, everyone wants to make content that's, you know, Gen Z for the most part. So, I mean, hopefully everything that happens with this innovation neighborhood, they have some creative spaces there, you know. I mean, I keep on saying this, but I would love to see the facility for KCM, the Kenosha Community Media, have, like, a permanent housing there where they can have their own building, you know.
I just hope that there's more great work to come out of this. I hope that we both took things from this interview that we didn't go into the interview with prior, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I just want to make the best content and stay true to myself and be as humble as possible.
That's what's up, man.
That being said, I greatly appreciate you coming on the platform.
Yeah, bro. We're going to have you come through the Old Word podcast one of these times.
Whatever I can do to help, man, and support a fellow black man, bro.
For sure, man. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir, Ski.
Looking in your eyes, I can tell you were gonna. You calling or you listening, tune in every week. Line for line. Oh yeah, I'm going line for line.